Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Solar Systems, where we help you understand the system your soul goes into. And today we're going to be talking about anxiety in astrology. So more often than not, anxiety is a situation that your motivation doesn't line up with the expectation of the experience you're in right now. So it's like someone's putting on an external limiting factor of what you can do. So with your motivation not lining up with their expectation, that basically puts you in a space to either attack and just go real hard with your motivation of wherever you want to go in some direction, or you're going to be placing that inward and sort of start attacking your own mind and your own self and be like, why is this expectation wrong? So getting back into the specific alignments of how this affects you is, if you caught what I said, your mind and your motivation. So what two planets are these? This is your moon and your Mars. So there's a couple different alignments that we can have with this moon and Mars. There's moon conjunct Mars, where the moon is basically right up on Mars. There is moon sextile Mars, where Mars is 60 degrees away. There is moon square Mars, where the moon is basically 90 degrees away. There's moon trine Mars, where the moon is 120 degrees away. And then there's moon in conjunct Mars, which is 150 degrees away. And then there's moon opposed Mars, where it's in direct opposition, 180 degrees. So let's start with moon conjunct Mars. So moon conjunct Mars, these people are very aggressive, very driven, very focused, because anytime they reflect their motivation, their Mars is right up on it, ready to catch that wave and be like, all right, let's go, you know? So in terms of anxiety, if these people are pushed into a situation where they don't want to be and their motivation isn't lined up, that's going to be on their mind all day, every day. So the issue with that is these people are not going to be able to sleep. They're not going to be able to do anything until they handle that issue. Or they will be able to sleep and it won't be so good, and it's just going to be like, and they're going to be literally like tweaking in a sense. Especially if they had a mercurial moon or a mercurial Mars, which would be Virgo or Gemini. Then it would be all nervy in their nervous systems, and you would see them tweaking, you know, just like, oh god, they've got all this energy that they need to get out. So for these people, I highly recommend, if they're in an anxious situation, that they either act on it quickly or they take control over their mind and basically shoot their awareness and their motivation somewhere else, so that the issue that's bothering them isn't on their mind. Because if it is on their mind, it will basically eat you alive if it is that, you know, that much of a motivating factor. Now moving on, we have moon sextile Mars. Moon sextile Mars is a 60-degree angle, so it's not as strong as a conjunction, where it's like you can't focus on anything else, but it is pretty strong in a sense, because moon sextile Mars is basically the experience of you having the opportunity to be aggressive like a conjunction. It's you having the opportunity to put your mind and your passions together. So these people have an easier time, and they're going to need to know how to walk the fine line of when to not pay attention to something that makes them anxious and when to pay attention to something that makes them anxious, because sometimes anxiety is a useful tool. Anxiety shows you when you're in a new experience, when you have something new going on. Anxiety can really show you a lot. You need to learn how to walk the fine line of, okay, if this is making me anxious, should I act on it? Should I be motivated to nip this in the bud and handle it while I can? Or should I write it off because I can't do anything about it? Make sure you ask yourselves those questions, because they will show you what you need to do as long as you ask yourself. Now moving on, we have moon square Mars. Moon square Mars is a 90-degree angle. So this is you always being in the learning experience of connecting your mind to your motivation. So you're always going to be like not sure with what you should do. You're going to be like, should I? Should I not? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Square Mars person will always be kind of hitting a learning experience. So if they're motivated behind something their mind's pushing them towards, they will eventually be in the space of just like, oh damn, you know, I messed up, or damn, I succeeded, you know, and they'll just kind of stumble into something like an air sign would. So these people kind of deal with anxiety on a permanent basis, because they are always in the space of, I just don't know how the universe is going to hand it to me, unless they actually learn how it works for themselves. Which is why I mentioned that you specifically, moon square Mars people, need to know the sign and the house you have these two planets placed in, because they will show you how you can deal with it and how you can learn these sort of coping mechanisms to handle you through these situations. But the benefit to this is you're always going to be feeling anxiety in some type of way if you're in a situation that requires motivation, because you're either not really going to know how it's going to turn out and it'll just basically ramp up what you're already feeling, or you can look at it like, oh, I'm already feeling this, so what's it going to do if I just add on more? I already feel this. I know how to deal with this. Just learn your coping mechanisms. Moon Trine Mars is very similar to a moon conjunction, except it's more in the space of a sextile, because yes, it is a very easy opportunity for you to act on the ability to be hyper motivated behind whatever you're reflecting on, behind whatever your mind's on, but at the same time, it still has that sextile aspect of you could turn the switch on or off. So you, once again, need to learn how to walk the fine line of not using this opportunity all the time, because it's like an 80-20 split between you feeling like, I'm motivated behind handling this right now, and a 20% between, okay, I can see it, it's extremely abundant, I see this opportunity right there, but I just want to turn it off because it's not important. So once again, this all comes back to you having power and control over your own mind. So what Moon Trine Mars people have to do is they need to learn that just because it glitters doesn't mean it's gold. Yes, it's a gift, yes, it's a golden opportunity, but should I take it? Will this actually handle the anxiety that I'm dealing with? Will this actually handle what I have going on? Oh, I don't know, maybe, but do you want to find out is the real question. I can't answer that for you, you're you. The next one, we have Moon in Conjunct Mars. So Moon in Conjunct Mars is just kind of a crappy placement to begin with. Why is that? Well, this ties back into knowing if this sign is on your left side or right side. If your Mars is on the left side of your moon, so for instance, if you're a Pisces moon and you have your Mars in Libra, this is sort of an unforeseen in conjunction to your moon, because you're not going to be able to see the side that your Mars is coming from. You're always going to be in that space to some extent. Now, how you manage it is up to you, because if it's on your right side, you're going to be able to see why you're going to have this misunderstanding. So this is why it's important to know if there's always going to be a right and left on both sides of the alignments. It just depends on what you're looking from. But you're mostly in your moon, so we're looking from our moon. If your Mars is on your right side, in that situation, you would be able to see how your misalignment is affecting you and making people misunderstand where you're coming from. So you will probably get into a lot of anxious situations, but what you need to do is, if you are rock solid on something that motivates you, you just need to cut your mind off. Don't think, just be. Live in your freaking, either your sun or your ascendant, depending on how that actually angles each other. But yeah, that's just, it's kind of leading us to how the oppositions work, except in conjunction people have an opportunity to see where they're going wrong, more often than not, if it's not on your left side. Anyway, you'll figure it out as time goes on. Just don't double down on doing whatever's making you anxious. Just know that, because if you already don't understand the connection between your mind and your motivation, you're not going to understand it when you double down on the thing that brought it to you in the first place. Let's talk about oppositions. So, Moon opposed Mars. Moon opposed Mars people can't see their motivation when they're in their mind, and they can't see their mind when they're in their motivation. Moon opposed Mars people will be living in their minds, they'll be reflecting, downloading, reacting, talking to people a lot, but then eventually they have to do something. And why I mentioned that age of 7 alignment is because that's when it's going to start hitting. Right around 7, you have to be a person, you have to grow up, you have to do something, right, for the first time. Not quite yet, but it'll feel like it. So, when you're living in your Mars, you're motivated, you're working. You don't have any time to react and reflect. You're just doing, you're just acting, you're just existing. So this alignment right here is interesting because you're not going to know you're anxious until you hop back into your own mind. So it could be damn near 7 years, and then when you hop back into your own mind, you're like, what did I do? I wasn't even following my own dreams, I wasn't even following my own vision, I wasn't even following nothing. So then once you hit that final 3 of actually going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, you can actually realize what happened to you. And then you're going to go through a short period of not being able to trust your own self. You're like, is my motivation right? Is my mind right? I don't know. And it may even be years of you going back, forth quite rapidly, being like, I don't know what I want to do. So this is why Moon opposed Mars people just need to accept the fact that they're going to be going through a learning experience. It may be a little damaging, but once you get, you'll get a handle of the cycles. But it's just, the issue is that there's no way to get around going through these cycles, in a sense. Like, what can help is knowing that you're in your Mars, or knowing that you're in your mind, so you can see which way you're in and how it's affecting you and what things are popping up, so you can manage certain experiences as you move on. But it's not always the best thing to do, because you kind of just gotta let it happen. Because if you're over-analyzing it, you'll sort of stop the process and you'll basically slow yourself down into the experiences that will basically, experience would have taught you anyway, and analysis would have just showed you what could happen. So this is why Moon-Mars people sort of have a rough patch in their teens, because this is when that feeling of, oh, I just hop back into my mind starts hitting. So be careful, Moon Mars people, because eventually you're going to be living great for a couple of years, but then once those signs start opposing and start hitting up based off the external alignments, your world's going to get rocked a little bit. And this is why these people, similar to the in conjunction people, always deal with some level of anxiety, because they never know when they're going to hop back into their Mars sometimes, and they never know when they're going to hop back into their Moon. But this is why if you understand your alignments and you do your daily 360 and you know what all the alignments are hitting for, then you'll be able to manage it. But anyways, that's anxiety and astrology. Thanks for following the solar system series, helping you understand the system your soul goes into. Peace.